Dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the Dhamma sermon. May you give your consent by saying Sadhu Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Attadipa bhikkave viharata attasarana ananya sarana dhamma deepa dhamma sarana ananya saranati ti. Dear friends in Dhamma, so as you all know, there are a few things I like to mention in the first day. Usually at Nissarana we usually mention these things as we are beginning a retreat. Since we have some of newcomers, I thought of mentioning that also. One thing is how much we have to be careful about our morality, the moral aspects, about the sila. So we already observe 8 precepts and try to maintain that as much as possible, because that is working as a foundation. So when a foundation is fairly strong, steady, then on top of that we can build a strong building. If the foundation is not so strong, then it can have a certain influence to the upcoming situation. So once we are having a thorough understanding and fair amount of consideration about our morality, our sila, and we are trying to maintain sila in a honest way, so that means that we are considering about it. We are sort of paying enough attention to that. And once sila is fairly available, established, so it naturally provides us a very positive atmosphere in our mind, telling that, okay, I am even sort of deserving more uplifted state of mind. Not even the right now, but I am even deserving more than this, because I am maintaining enough good virtues in myself now. Previously I haven't considered these things, but now I am honestly trying to maintain good sila, good morality, good moral standards. So better I am maintaining that, and your mind becomes somewhat pleasing about it. Not complaining about you, rather than it becomes more pleasant about yourself, pleasing about yourself. So that positive atmosphere is very, very important for meditation. So yourself, or the conscience of yourself, should not complain about you, rather the opposite has to happen. It always has to have a kind of a deserving attitude. So I am worthy of improving myself further, I am worthy of attaining something, I am worthy of sort of going through this spiritual path. So that kind of a worthy mood or worthy atmosphere within ourselves is very, very important. Feeling that I am worthy of doing it. And that's why Buddha mentioned when we have a proper sila, it gives us fair amount of confidence that I am worthy, I am capable, I can do it. So that kind of a confidence is developing as we are maintaining morality. Then next actually Buddha mentioned about the kind of following of the teaching. So we are getting certain amount of guidance from Buddha's teaching. So that is important. This is not something that we have created or something that we abruptly going here and there. Rather, Buddha has shown the path many thousands years ago, and many people have traversed in that path, progressed in that path, and we are also going that same ancient path. So knowing the ancient path is very important. So that's why we are always referring to the Buddha's teaching and recognizing the suttas and finding out the references, the sources. And then we know that exactly we are also very much in line with the Buddha's teaching. It is not someone's imagination, rather it's the Buddha who has taught it. It's mentioned here and here. So likewise we have proved evidence, concrete evidence, and then we are quite confident, yes, Buddha has mentioned like this. And it was being practiced for long time, and we are also doing the same thing today. So maintaining that kind of a knowledge, some support coming from the Buddha's teaching as a guidance is very important. Next is what we call as the Sakacchanuggahita, where we are maintaining a good discussion, conducting a good discussion, and there we all participate and we are communicating ourselves and basically trying to understand where we are, what we are doing, how the things are happening, whether my decision is correct, whether my understanding is correct, how Buddha's teaching is telling with all this. So likewise, some sort of a good discussion is a must. Because sometimes we alone can't understand things properly, and sometimes we misunderstand, and sometimes we underestimate, and sometimes we overestimate without proper knowledge. So having good understanding and then have a good discussion, therefore, is very important, so that we become sort of confident, removing all the doubts. If we are doubtful about the path, if we are doubtful about what we are doing, then we are not committing enough. We are not wholeheartedly practicing. So therefore it is necessary to remove all the doubts. So that's why we are maintaining an open discussion, so we can ask any question. If there are any doubts, we can ask, we can clear them, so that we are confidently continuing our practice. So the discussion part is therefore very important. And another thing is that when others are also contributing and explaining their experience, so we also become more confident. It is not merely a book knowledge, it is not a mere textual thing here, but they have done something. They have get involved in this practice, practically get involved. According to that practice, now they are talking. So we also get some kind of a encouragement by hearing that other yogis such reports. So that's why always encouraging you to submit your reports and contribute in these discussions, so that we all as a group will progress. It is not a unique kind of a individual's progress, rather as a group we all are progressing. And then Buddha talks about the concentration practice and the Vipassana practice, where, as we already discussed, our minds are typically scattered, not being able to maintain enough attention onto a particular phenomena. So again jumping from this object to the other object. So that such kind of a scattered mind is not capable of knowing things as they truly are. So we need to concentrate the mind, focus our attention. So develop some amount of concentration. So that is necessary. Calming down the mind, relaxing the mind, tranquilizing the mind, removing whatever the agitation, and maintaining enough attention continuously for a considerable period of time. And that is necessary. So that skill has to be developed. So there are various techniques to develop such tranquility, concentration. And as we already discussed, so that becomes our first part of the practice. It is not really true that if we say that we are practicing Vipassana, rather almost like we are first tranquilizing the mind, calming down the mind, focusing the attention, developing some amount of collectedness in our mind. And as this last support, Buddha mentioned about the Vipassana Anuggahita, where we need to continuously develop the wisdom as much as possible. So since we have a lot of ignorance, that's why we are being tangled. And how about untangling it? So removing the confusion, understanding what has really happened. So that requires fair amount of wisdom. So that is the Vipassana path. So as much as possible, we need to develop wisdom. So different stages are there. So these 5 supports, therefore it is very important to pay enough attention. So how about my morality? Am I maintaining enough moral standard? How about some kind of guidance coming from the Buddha's teaching? Do I have some support? Do I know what's really going on? Do I have some, guidance? Is it possible to really get some clarity from the Buddha's teaching of what I am doing? Am I sure about it? So that guidance, is it there available? So that we need to verify. And if not, we can discuss and we can further eliminate doubts through a discussion. And through the practice, we are focusing our attention, calming down, paying enough continuous concentrated mind, focused attention, and then thoroughly investigating what is really going on, so that we are developing wisdom. So very much like this. So this path is therefore a very practical path. Not that we simply restrict ourselves to reading, not practicing. Not merely that we practice without reading, that is also not the correct thing. Many things are there. So all these different aspects have to be time to time fulfilled, so that every aspect are contributing each other, helping each other, so that we are knowing what really we are doing. Then as a theme of this retreat, Kalalgoda, actually I thought of discussing interesting sutta available in the Kanda Sangyutta. You know, in Sangyutta Nikaya, the connected discourses of the Buddha discuss various aspects and particularly related to the meditation. And I have selected one sutta. It is named as Attadipa Sutta. Be an island unto yourself. Attadipa Sutta. Attadipa bhikkave viherata atta sarana. Ananya sarana. Dhammadipa dhamma sarana. Ananya sarana. So Buddha's words are very clear. Be an island unto yourself. Dwell yourself as a refuge. Dwell yourself as a refuge. Dwell yourself as an island. Dhammadipa dhamma sarana ananya sarana. Dhamma as a refuge, Dhamma as an island. There is no other refuge. It's a kind of a mature approach. Typically, our approach is always looking for someone's help. Always looking for some kind of a savior coming and helping me, coming and who is more superior and helping me, and I am just a, very weak character. I can't do anything. Please help me. So that kind of a attitude is there in us, but Buddha gives us the responsibility. He as a teacher, he is guiding us, that is there, but he is putting responsibility to us. Attadipa bhikkave vihirata atta sarana ananya sarana. Dwell yourself as a refuge. Dwell yourself as an island. So this is a very strong statement. And this is not the only place that he is mentioning like this. And when some serious thing happened, he mentioned the same thing. Just to give you one example, one occasion, Venerable Sariputta went to a far place, to his own village, his mother's place, Nalaka, the village called Nalaka, and there he passed away. So he was able to convince his mother, teach his mother, and mother also has become a stream winner. And after fulfilling all that obligations, he passed away. Venerable Sariputta. So he is the marshal of the Dhamma. Only second to the Buddha. Such a marvelous character. And he has been a role model to the whole Sangha. Buddha is mentioning, okay, if you want to maintain a monk's life, Sariputta is the role model. Moggallana is the role model. Sariputta particularly is the role model because he is more compassionate towards others, and again quite utmost in his wisdom characters. Only second to the Buddha. And he is encouraging other monks again and again. And he is very much like born with Dhamma. A very special character. Now he passed away. And his brother Chunda, he too is a monk, now collected his alms bowl and the robes, and he again coming back to meet the Buddha. And first he met Venerable Ananda. And Venerable Ananda and Venerable Sariputta are very close friends. So always Venerable Ananda go and ask questions from Venerable Sariputta, and so they are maintaining a very good relationship. And Venerable Ananda himself is a fairly learned monk, and he is the treasurer to the Dhamma Bhandagarika, and he is a well-learned monk. And Venerable Sariputta, on the other hand, is an arahant, like a big brother, guiding and helping the other monks, like a mother. Venerable Sariputta is like a mother, and Venerable Moggallana is like a father. That is how typically it is mentioned. Now, Venerable Venerable Sariputta's brother, so he came and informed the bad news to Venerable Ananda. And then Venerable Ananda say, okay, let's go and meet the Buddha. So both of them go to the Buddha, and then they are informing Bhante, this what's his name? I forgot the name. Chunda. Yeah, this Chunda Samanera, our friend, is giving this bad news. Venerable Sariputta, our good friend, has passed away. Bhante, when I heard that news, I couldn't understand anything. I forgot all the Dhamma. I basically lost my orientation. I couldn't recognize the directions. So that means you can see even the Venerable Ananda is a Sotapanna stream winner. By hearing the passing away of Venerable Sariputta, he was shocked. And then Buddha, on the other hand, as a teacher, great teacher, he is asking, is Venerable Sariputta passed away carrying your, something? Has he passed away by carrying your whole sila? Has he passed away carrying your whole concentration? Has he passed away carrying your all wisdom? No, Bhante, not like that. He saw such a marvelous person. He was helping the Dhamma. He is helping the Sangha. Always encouraging us. Always, if there is any problem, he is trying to sort it out. Encouraging. And giving us the guidance. So he's such a marvelous character. I was thinking about this great help that I was getting, the whole Sangha community was getting. When I was thinking that I couldn't understand the whole thing, I was really shocked. On that occasion, Buddha is telling the same thing. Attadipa ananda vihirata atta sarana ananya sarana. Dhamma dipa dhamma sarana ananya sarana. Same statement. So, Attadipa vihirata. Be an island unto yourself. Dwell yourself as an island. Dwell yourself as a refuge. And keep Dhamma as a refuge. Keep Dhamma as an island. And then Buddha explained how one is dwelling oneself as a refuge. How oneself, using oneself as an island. Dhamma as an island, Dhamma as a refuge. Buddha immediately highlight the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Kaye kayanupasse vihirati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijjado manasa. Vedanasu vedananupasse vihirati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijjado manasa. Chitte chittanupasse vihirati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijjado manasa. Dhammesu dhammanupasse vihirati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijjado manasa. 4 foundations of mindfulness. So that is the refuge. So that is how you are using yourself as an island. Now simply consider that our bodies. So we can use our body for various purposes. We can play sports using the body. We can, walk long distances using the body. You can attack someone using the body. Maybe you can, play cricket using the body. If you go to another level, you can, engage in sex using the body. Or you can steal using the body. And using the speech, say you can lie. And you can intoxicate the body. And many things you can do. You can kill another person using the body. So many things you can do using the body. But typically, so we are using this body, and sometimes we are doing something harmful, maybe to someone else, or maybe to ourselves, or to both sides. Using the body. And even the speech is the same. Sometimes we are telling the truth and maybe preaching, and we are doing something beneficial to ourselves and to the others. And sometimes we are lying, gossiping and all that, and we are harming ourselves and harming others. So these skills, in one sense, the body and the speech, sometimes we are not using properly, appropriately, and ultimately we are the ones going to suffer. Because we, as being a person, we are doing something. We intentionally do something using the body. So ultimately the repercussions we have to go through. The results we have to bear. So using the body in that sense is in a way harmful. Because we are not mindful about how we are using the body. And we are immediately reacting, immediately attacking someone, immediately speaking out. And sometimes we regret what I have done. I was so, excited at that moment. I was so angry at that moment. And I couldn't establish mindfulness. That's why I have reacted like that. So we sometimes regret of what we have done. So basically using the body, we can do such kind of some grave activities which can have a lot of consequences. But now Buddha is asking, use the same body to do the opposite. So that you are using the same body as a refuge, same body as an island. How are you going to do that? Say you are walking, so the walking body, now you are using to develop skillful qualities in the mind. So you can see, so previously we were using the body for something unskillful. But now we are using the body for something skillful, something beneficial, not only to ourselves, even to the others. So basically, in that sense, so this body, the Kayanupassana, establishment of mindfulness onto body, is where, so the body being used for our own benefit and even for the others' benefit. It's a very simple thing. Previously we are using for this body for have fun and all that, and harming ourselves and maybe even harming others, not caring the others, not caring ourselves. But now we are using it for something very sublime. Is it possible to use the body to develop mindfulness? Is it possible to use the body for developing concentration, maintaining good morality, developing wisdom? So these are, we even might not think about. But now Buddha encourages us, use the body as a refuge. Use the body as an island. Now in this sutta, so Buddha takes our attention like this. Attadipanam bhikkhave viharatang, atta sarananang, ananya sarananang, dhamma dipanam dhamma sarananang, ananya sarananang, yoniso upaparikkitabba. So while you are maintaining this body as a refuge, using this body as an island, using Dhamma as a refuge, using Dhamma as the island, now you need to carefully investigate how Kim Jatika Soka Parideva Dukkha Domana Supayasa Kim Pahotika, how this Soka, that means sorrow, Parideva means lamentation, dukkha, suffering, and domanasa, little bit of unhappiness, upayasa, despair, how they are arising, how they are arising, and how it is being produced. Now you need to carefully investigate. Now basically, the point highlighted there is, now you need to recognize how the suffering is arising. How am I getting unhappy? How am I getting into bad mood? So what are the causes? It's a kind of an investigation. So while you are maintaining this satipatthana, so in a way, now Buddha promotes here, we can say to some extent the Chittanupassana, where how the unhappiness arises in one's mind, how the worrying arises in one's mind, how a little bit of frustration arises in one's mind, restlessness arises in one's mind. So unsatisfaction arises in one's mind. So a little bit of investigating the in a way, the first noble truth and the second noble truth. Actually, we can immediately say it's the first noble truth, where you are trying to understand the suffering, recognizing the suffering within the mind. So how this suffering arises, how this unsatisfaction arises, how sorrow arises, how lamentation arises, why am I crying sometimes, why am I getting into certain moods sometimes, how I get into unhappy mood. So it's a kind of reflection. So sometimes what happens is we always find the answer outside. He is the person who's making me unhappy. He should be responsible. So he should be punished. So this is the kind of an attitude sometimes we get. But this is a kind of a wise reflection, by the way. Yoniso upaparikkatabbam. So yoniso upaparikkatabbam means, so basically you have to come back to yourself. So you are yoniso manasikara. So you are going through a source. Rather than finding out the source outside, you are coming back to the source. You are going to the previous step. Going to the previous step. Always coming to the roots. So that is where the yoniso manasikara is highlighted. Always the yoniso manasikara is going towards the origin. So what's the origin of suffering? What's the cause of suffering? And how the anger or unhappiness or lamentation, crying, worrying, how that happens. So what is the cause? What is the origin? How it is being born? Now here, Buddha explained in this particular sutta a cause. So what is the reason? Idabhikkave asutava putujjano aryanang adassavi arya dhammassa ane akovindo arya dhamme avinito sappurisanang adassavi sappurisa dhammassa akovindo sappurisa dhamme avinito. So this is a stock phrase mainly used in the suttas to explain that a kind of worldly person who has no association with the nobles. Asutava putujjano, uninstructed worldling. So that is a typical phrase being used, uninstructed worldling. He has no regard for the noble people. He has no association towards with the noble people or with any kind of a sappurisa, kind of a superior person, and haven't heard about the Buddha's teaching. He is completely ignorant about such a teaching. And he is simply a worldly person. And what is his attitude? Rupang attato samanupassati. He simply regard the form, the body as himself. Now, typical understanding is that, so this body is mine. So the second is that the rupa vantangva attanam, or the body as belong to me. Attaniva rupang, or as a component of myself, body is there. So I am a big thing, a self is something large. In that self, the body is one component. The opposite is the last one, where rupasmingva attanam. So that means inside the body there is self. There is a ongoing self, unchanging self. So these are the four possibilities mentioned, and you can recognize how deeply rooted these things are. Now, say for example, when we are coming here, probably we have used a vehicle. Say as you came by car. Is your mind came by the car? Or your body came by the car? So are we having such kind of a differentiation? When you are telling, okay, how did you come? Bhante, I came by car. By my car. Not your car. I came by my car. So there also you have a little bit, emphasis that I have a good car, My car is better than your car. And I came by that better car. And so basically referring that our body is incapable of coming from that place to this place by walking. So I have used a car to do that. So the body being moved from that place to this place. But we never think like that. So I came by car. So simple recognition, understanding is that body is me. Say I am taking a group photo over here, and then suppose that someone has posted in the, say, Facebook. And next day, people are telling, oh, this Kalalgoda, have you been there? Yes, yes, can you see I am there? In that group photo, so you are indicating, oh, I am there. So your figure, your image is there, so you are immediately referring, oh, I am there. So the body, we immediately recognize as myself. So this is very much like inbuilt. So myself and body are exactly the same. Say you become sick, is your mind become sick or your body become sick? Are you mentally sick or bodily sick? If someone say, okay, you are mentally sick, so you feel little uncomfortable. I am not such a person. I mean, this body is sick. I am not mentally sick. Sometimes, when people are attending the retreats, they are asking, are you taking any medicine for any mental sickness? No. So because we feel a little ashamed of telling, okay, I am taking some medicine for some mental sickness. Bodily sickness is okay, by the way. We all are, wearing this thing like now. I am also going to wear maybe. So bodily sickness is unavoidable, by the way. So but basically indicating that body is myself. But we don't differentiate even like that. Only when we are little thinking too much, we think, okay, bodily sicknesses and the mental sicknesses. That Buddha categorizes actually. There is a beautiful sutta called Roga Sutta. Kaikacha rogo, chetasikacha rogo. So Buddha categorizes the different two categories of diseases are there, ailments are there, the bodily ailments and the mental ailments. So typically we don't consider like that. I am feeling uncomfortable. So I am feeling uncomfortable. What does it mean? Is your body feeling uncomfortable or is your mind feeling uncomfortable? So assume that you feel a little bit of uncomfortable in your body. Some pain is there. So I am simply telling, Bhante, I am feeling a little uncomfortable. I have a back pain. So that means the body is basically I am considering as myself. So that as an immediate recognition, even without much analysis, thinking, so immediately we simply say, okay, I am here, I am sitting. Sometimes that is how we even start the meditation. Simply here, now I am sitting. That means the body is sitting. Is your mind sitting or mind wandering? So typically what happens at the beginning is, while the body is sitting, mind is wandering. Isn't it? So body is still, but mind is not still. Now only we can even think like that, isn't it? So there's a body and there's a mind. At least two things are there. But we don't even think even like that. We simply say, okay, I was there, I was thinking, and I am so and so. And it's taken for granted, like all these terminologies, all these languages, how we refer all our activities using a particular language, always emphasizing body as myself. Not going to deeper analysis, telling, okay, body is one thing, or you are another thing. There is no such kind of a categorization. Typically simply say, okay, I am sick, I am not well, I am good, I am doing really well. So today I had a good breakfast, today I had a good meal. So all that means, did you refer that when you are telling today I had a good meal? So are you referring that you had a good Dhamma sermon so that you heard some good information to your mind, or you had a good meal? What do you mean? Are we asking like that? No, we simply say, okay, I had a good meal. That means I had good, my stomach is full because I had a good meal. So all our language is simply referring like that. So emphasizing, okay, this body is me, body is yourself. And when you are sick, Still you say, okay, I'm not doing good. I'm not simply saying my body is sick. When you go to a doctor, so are you telling that doctor, my body is sick, or I am sick? I'm not feeling well. Or this body has some trouble. Okay, my knee pain is there. So my knee is there. Then, by the way, my knee belongs to you. So that is coming under the second category. Rupa vantang va attanang. So body belongs to me. So body belongs to me. You are one thing and body is another thing, and you have a relationship. So you have a possession. The body belongs to me. This is my body. This is my body. So when my body is there, that indicates that you are also there. Suppose that when you refer your car, assume that you are thinking about your car now, your vehicle now. So if it belongs to you, when you see that car, immediately the owner of the car, who is the owner of the car? I am the owner of the car. So I is coming out because some belongings are there. The moment that we understand, okay, this belongs to me, so that means I is there. Immediate understanding is that I am the one owning this. So this belongs to me. The body belongs to me. So that is another way of looking at it. So rather than immediately selling body as myself, now you simply say, body belongs to me. That's another way of referring. And the third one, attaniva rupang. So I am something more than that. I can think, I can react, I can have various other things, but body also in that self. So I am a large self now. That is more little complicated in that sense. You are not immediately considering body as myself. You are not immediately considering I have a direct relationship, this body belongs to me. Rather you simply say, I have many things, body is one of it that. Say body is one component of that. My self is a large self, and to that large self, body is another essential component. That's another way of referring it. And sometimes people think another different way, that's the last one, rupasming va attanam. So this body is something very unique. Inside the body, I don't know where, don't ask me where, inside the body there is a self. Maybe in the heart, maybe in the brain, that's a self. Isn't it? Have you ever found it? You can find it, maybe. So some people actually have tried even to find that, even during the Buddha's time. So they thought, okay, there is a self in the body, and you know that they have taken some the people who are sentenced to death, and they have taken them and put it into a large vessel, and they killed them there, and they want to find out whether something from the body going out. Some self inside the body is, going out when they are getting to the death, when they are dying. So the basic understanding is that inside the body there is a self. So where is the self? Now we know there are four possibilities, right? How we are thinking. Immediately directly telling the body as a self. Body is the self. Immediately telling, okay, body is the self. Or body has a relationship with the self, okay, this body belongs to me. I am the self, okay, this body belongs to me. The third one is, so the large self is there, I have many other things also, body is one of that. On the other hand, the last one, where inside the body there is a self. Now this is how what we typically call the Sakkaya Ditthi is generated with respect to the body. The personality view is generated with respect to the body. Probably you have heard about it. So the personality view, that means we are creating a self out of the body. So now let me come to a different way. Now say you came here by a vehicle. Good. Now it has 4 wheels. It has, say, some axles and all that, whatever the iron parts. It has seats, and it has steering wheel, engine, brakes, shutters, maybe a setup. So many things are there. You gather everything together, assembled in a particular manner. What do you call it? Did you came by a car or jeep or bus or train or what? So when we assemble many components together in a particular fashion, we can call it a motorbike, isn't it? In a particular fashion. Say if we put together two wheels and then a small engine and brakes and handle and all that, then we call it a motorbike. If we put four wheels, or say if we put a three wheels, we put a three wheel and something together, and then we call it a three-wheeler, tuk-tuk. And if we put four wheels and in a particular way, if we made it, then we call it a car. If we put four wheels and do it in a different way, we call it a jeep. Say if we put four wheels and make it like another way, we call it a van. Say if we put six wheels and make it a little larger so that many people can go in, we call it a bus. If we put all iron wheels, many apartments, and put a engine in the front, what? We call it a train. Is there a train, real train? Is there a real car? Is there a real bus? Is there a real van? Is there a real jeep? Is there a real motorbike? Oh, we assembled many components and then we gave a name. Now this is how, if we consider deeply how the body is also like. So once you dissect the body, so what are the components available? Do you have wheels? Do you have axles, or do you have engine in the body? A pump you can recognize. What is the pump? Heart pump. So engine, maybe that also an engine, type of engine. So somewhat similar, isn't it? Some components are there. So what are the wheels? Maybe the legs. So I'm trying to kind of a little bit of resemblance. So legs are there, heart is there, brain is there, say various vessels are there so that the electrocution and the signals are being communicated and the blood being pumped to the whole body, the vessels are there. So many components are there. So simply we say 32 parts assembled in a particular way, particular fashion. And we call it one body, okay, he's a man. We call it another little bit different, okay, she's a woman. A name. So basically, we take all this for granted. And we forget that we are the ones who gave a name just to, differentiate. This kind of assembly is different from this kind of an assembly. So car is little different from a van. So what's the difference? So you know that, right? So when I'm telling of a car, you know what is a car. When I'm telling a van, you know what is a van. So that we all accepted. It's a common norm. So when I'm telling a man, you know who is a man. When I'm telling a woman, you know who is a woman. So it's a common norm. Man is with these components, woman is with these components. Car is with these component, van is with these component. Car looks like this, van looks like this, man looks like this, woman looks like this. Is the car yourself? Is the man yourself? Is the van yourself? Is the woman yourself? Which one is correct? Now, one time, Venerable Vajira, so she's an Arahant Bhikkhuni, So she is dwelling in one remote forest dwelling. And she is practicing alone. And Mara came and trying to cheat her, frighten her. And he is asking, who is the creator of this bimba? The bimba means this self, this body. Who is the creator? Who belongs it? How it has come? And then when Vajra is mentioning, it is not someone's creation. It is not one's own creation. So when all these components get together, so we call it a man, we call it a being. Like the same cart with with two wheels and two axles and all these little components get together, assembled in a particular fashion, we call it a cart. Similarly, when all these ayatanas, the sense bases, or all these aggregates, the five aggregates, are assembled in a particular way and functioning together, we call it a name. This is a satta, this is an animal, this is a being. That's it. But typical understanding is we consider immediately this body as myself, or this body belongs to myself, or myself has a body as a component, or inside the body there is myself. So you can think about it. And this is the strongest kind of Sakkaya Ditthi in a way. A different form of formulation of Sakkaya Ditthi is there, personality view is there. And considering this body as a unique component, as one thing, forgetting that it has many, many components working together, working in harmony or disharmony, then you become sick. And that we forget. So the one important practice in that sense is the 32 parts, the things are kara, where we again come back to the understanding, okay, this is not something, one component. It consists of many, many different components. They are assembled in a different way. They are assembled in a particular proper manner. Then we call it a man, then we call it a woman. So they are assembled. They are made up with many, many components, bodily parts. So that Gana Sanya, what we call as the compactness view. So we have the compactness view. Say this one. So there may be inside the battery. There may be various wheels. There may be other little gadgets. And now there's a frame. All different components are there, assembled in a particular way. Now what we call it? Maybe an alarm clock. Say a watch, alarm clock. Fine. Who gave that name? So we gave that name, isn't it? Simply to recognize it. So say if I want to say two things, here recorder, here alarm clock. Now when I am telling that, so you immediately understand what's the purpose of an alarm clock, what's the purpose of the recorder, so you immediately understand. So that's the terminology. So we all have the terminologies, we all have the words, conventions. So we are using them effectively so that we can communicate properly. Necessary. But does that mean intrinsically there is an alarm clock? Intrinsically? Or is it a name given, a convention given, a label given? So this is where we go wrong. We have taken the convention as a reality. We have taken the convention too strong. And we think intrinsically inside the convention there is a man. Intrinsically in this convention there is a woman. Inside this body there is a self. Inside this body, or this body is really myself, or this body belongs to myself. So immediately we take the whole thing, we forget about that components. The component views we forget. It's assembled components, many parts are there, we forget that. We simply say, okay, I am here. Here now I am sitting. I am the body. So likewise, even superficially, logically, we can understand once when we thoroughly analyze it. You can't find a self here. You can't find a person here. You can't find a man here, you can't find a woman here. So all this is kind of an assembled parts, assembled in a certain fashion, working together in a good harmony, and then we are calling it a woman, a man, a child, something like that. So we'll see further about this theme tomorrow, and how particularly to the body, how Buddha is encouraging us to see the reality using various types of meditations, so that we are able to penetrate that Sakkaya Ditthi. We are able to understand how futile this personality view is, how strongly we are adhere to that we understood now, and how we are going to penetrate that. So that is something very important. So that taking the body for granted as myself is something that we are continuously doing. So we need to step back and see what really has happened. So that is where the Kayanupassana is helpful. Kayanupassana is helpful for us to look at the body in various angles, many different perspectives, so that we are able to abandon the self-view. So hoping to do that on tomorrow, I will conclude the Dhamma sermon here today. And thank you very much for attentive listening. So there's a sharing of merits. දහවල් දාණය ගරු ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලාට පූජා කරන ලද්දේ කුමුදුනී බුලත් සිංහල විසිනි. මාගේ ප්‍රාර්ථනාව වනුයේ ගරුතර ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලාට ආයු වර්ණ සැප බල ප්‍රඥා වැඩි පැතු බෝධි වලින් නිවනින් සැනසීම සඳහා සහ සියලු යෝගී පිරිසටද ආයු වර්ණ සැප බල ප්‍රඥා වැඩි ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන බෝධියකින් නිවන් ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා අපරාධ පාසුවෙන් නිවන් සාක්ෂාත් කර ගැනීම සඳහාත් අභා ප්‍රාප්ත මාගේ ස්වාමි පුරුෂයා වූ නිහාල් බුලත් සිංහල මහතාට භවගාමී සසර සුවපත් වී නිවන් සාක්ෂාත් කර ගැනීම සඳහා අපකප වී සියලු කටයුතු සංවිධානය කරන සියලුම සහෝදර සහෝදරියන් හැමතෙම පහසුවෙන් චතුරාර්ය සත්‍ය අවබෝධය සඳහා. So she has put a sharing of merits, the person who given us the dana, and then we'll share the merits the whole day that we tried our best to the practice. Some few more hours are left. And again, we tried our best to honestly maintain our morality. And we have participated in a Dhamma discussion and listened to a Dhamma sermon. And we have practiced mindfulness to the best of our ability. All that has effectively helped me to accumulate some merits. I am sharing these merits with all the celestial beings, all the past relatives, and whoever in need of merits. And I wish these merits help me also to understand Buddha's teaching and to attain path fruition Nibbana. While keeping these good wishes in our mind, let's recite the traditional verses. Yattavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Yattavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasattha cha bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha cha bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha cha bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා. සාදු සාදු සාදු.